Hey there, it's the KSR Football Podcast presented by Friends of Cole. I'm Nick Roush. That's Drew Franklin, Adam Luckett, and Van Hiles is taking the glasses off. I always love when Van takes the glasses off. It lets you know that some serious takes are about to be thrown down. How you doing, Van?
I'm doing great. Look, I'm the oldest one here, and been looking at a computer for about 30 plus years. My eyesight is bad with the small words, man. If I'm gonna read comments, I gotta look through these readers.
Oh, I'm right there with you. I kind of get these bad boys on, not squinting. You gotta get the what do they call them? The blue lenses, the blue light. You gotta get some of those too.
That doesn't work, man.
It's voodoo magic, and I believe it works. You know what else works is Cole. Cole's resilient, reliable, affordable. It's a big part of the state's past, and it's a big part of the future. Check out Friends of Cole, friendsofcolekentucky.org. Go to it. Check them out. Friends of Cole. I actually think I gave the wrong. friendsofcolekentucky.org to learn more about Friends of Cole, your Friends of Cole, fueling the KSR Football Podcast and Rapid Reactions all season long. We had quite a doozy on Saturday after Kentucky fell 16-13 to the Horns. The Cats got hooked in overtime, couldn't punch it in, couldn't get it done. There's things we can pick apart of the game. There's big picture analysis to take away from it all. But hey, it feels good to talk about. Like, I feel like we get to actually talk about a football game, Drew. Where so many times this year we're just, Stoops. What's it going to be for Stoops? Stoops, this future buyout. Stoops contract. Stoops. No, like we can talk about a football game. It was the same result, but at least it was a game in the fourth quarter that was hanging in the balance. We haven't had one of those in a very long time.
Not just fourth quarter, Nick. We got extra football for the first time in a long time. Even though they lost and everybody knows the complaints we'll have, I had fun in Kroger Field again, even if just for a few moments. I'll confess, once Kentucky tied it up before Texas came down, they had traded field goals. I legitimately thought Kentucky was going to win that game. Then you get me down to the goal line. I cannot believe, if you told me before the game kicked off that I'd be believing we could win, I wouldn't have believed you, but I fell for it. I was in it.
There were a lot of stats that if I told you this before the game, you would have been like, yeah, Kentucky won. I mean, only 16 points, Luckett, right? Like, your defense holds the other team to 16 points. You should probably win.
13 points.
Yeah, regulation. 8 first downs, right? I mean, Cutter Boley, 300 total yards. You're probably like, hey, I bet they won that football game. They did not, though.
Can't talk about math.
The math ain't mathing, Nick Roush.
No, it's not mathing at all. And there are certain parts we're going to pick apart, obviously, but really it sucks, Van, that it feels like this offense is getting better, but they're still not scoring any points because they can't execute in the red zone.
Well, I will say this. This is the, if not number one, number two defense in the conference. They just shut out. Oklahoma scored 6 points on them last week. This is a really good defense. And for us to do what we did, if you really look at the positive end, if they continue what they're progressing with now, this offense can be something that you can say, will we score more than 2 touchdowns in the SEC game before the season ends? I think it's possible. I think it's possible.
I mean, it's such a low bar. It is such a low bar. I mean, 2 touchdowns?
If you haven't done it, look, what is it? Before you take 2 steps, you got to take 1, right? So before we scored 2 touchdowns, we got to take 1, then 2, then maybe 3. That can all happen in one game, though, but you got to baby step it to that point. Look, people are not giving Texas enough credit. That defense is elite. And
Yes.
we talked about it last week. And there were some things that shouldn't have happened, that we shouldn't have been even involved in. We shouldn't even been on a 4th and 1 going for it on 4th down. We should have kicked the field goal.
Oh, that's a spicy meatball, Van.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started with it. See, I'm calm. Let me stay calm. Move on, Nick. Take it to someone else before I explode.
No, I know. I do think because most people are content and kind of glad that Kentucky went for it there at the end. But you are seemingly an outlier. You're ready to play for a second overtime. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, for all of y'all who think that you are stupid, I'm just joking. Here's the thing about it, though. Let's because what happens is the game dictates decisions. On the first drive, you went for it on 4. You couldn't make it. Not close. So why would you go for it again? Here's the other thing that for me, you take advantage of. They won a coin toss, right? So they made us go first. Know why you want the team to go first? So now you can see what they do to dictate how you attack from the 25-yard line. If you go for 3, your defense balled out all game. They go for 3. You know what happens on the second overtime? You go last. Now, if you want to go for it on that situation, knowing that if you score, you definitely win. If you don't make it, they're on the 25-yard line. They went backwards. They went 4th and 12, and kick the field goal to beat you. So if you wait, now on the second opportunity, I would be more a little bit in agreement or say, we at home, we're going to win this game now. Not on the first option when you're the first team to get the ball. Makes no sense.
Here's the only problem with that. That kid can hit from 60. They got kicking footballs. So they're probably getting 3. So eventually, and then you get into a 2-point off. If you make it so far in overtime, you got the ball at the half-yard line. The 1 twice. You're going to have to get something like that eventually to win the football game. So that would be my rebuttal to that. I think it was unfortunate because I think you go back to the first series of the game. Like I think if it's 4th and 2 or greater, you probably kick the field goal there, first series. But then they got 4th and 1, and they kind of got in the middle area. I think you'd almost wish they were in 4th and 3 more than 4th and 1 because then they're probably kicking it more. But I think in an overtime situation, you're eventually going to have a situation in short yardage. You're going to have to get and convert on offense to win the game, especially when you got a kicker like Texas did. So that would be – I think you're just eventually going to have to get a play like that. And so you're at the half-yard line. You got to be able to get it. And it's not necessarily the 4th down play. I think it's 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Like it's those in totality, I think, kind of how you went about that and how you operated. You've got – that is 4 2-point plays in a row, essentially, right? You just have to get 1 2-point conversion on 4 snaps, and they couldn't get it once.
I will say this. On 2nd down, it was there.
If he stays outside, yeah.
If he stays outside, it's there. I think if you look at the play with 2 linemen pulling, I don't know if that was on purpose. Bush gave him a one read, take it to the corner of the end zone. If he continues outside, it's really, really close. And then here's the thing. It's not from the 2-yard line. Hold on. Let me say this too. Dante Dowdell should never go over the top again because he doesn't know where to jump from. You jump from the 3-yard line. What?
Well, the other part too, Van, is when was the last time you saw somebody successfully do that jump? Like this ain't Walter Payton.
Well, there's a thing now called a tush push, where you can get up behind someone and push them instead of them
not
having to
everybody's
leap.
good at that though.
No, but instead of Dowdell leaping, you can bring someone around and can get in there and push him from behind. If he does want to, jump in the air or something. So, yeah, the leap. It's not 2005 anymore. You don't see people, I think, leaping in the National Football League for a reason.
And then we tried it early in the season. Did he not have an attempt to dive over the
Toledo? I think in the Toledo game they did it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just in generally speaking, Dante Dowdell was brought here to solve Kentucky's short yardage issues, and he has not done that. He's not been a good short yardage back.
Well, he did rip off a 75-yarder. Maybe we got it mixed up.
Yeah. I mean, if you take away that one 75-yard run, the numbers aren't great.
No, they're not great. Not very good.
And he was perfect. I will say they were perfect on short yardage with him until that game, and then they just went 0 for 3. I believe they were 6-6 going into the game with him in short yardage, 3rd and 3 or less, and then you went 0 for 3 there against Texas. And really, it could have took 14 points off the board. If you convert that first one, you might win the game in regulation all the way in the first quarter.
Or if Cutter doesn't hook slide on the second and long, and he dives, it's first down.
Yeah, I'm all about the dive. The slide, because diving, I know sliding protects yourself, but if you dive, like Lamar is great at it, where he kind of dives to the side and turtle shells, and it really just takes away that extra 2 yards that they always mark you by. I feel like they always take away 2 yards on the slides.
How many times have you seen a quarterback get hurt by either guy going at his head on a slide? The slide is not the safety problem. Since they're protecting the quarterback, the slide is not. If you go head first and somebody pounce on top of you, that's when you get the 15-yard.
The only time I've ever seen anybody get hurt on the dive is when Tua dove his neck right into that dude's chest. Peke's over here dying of embarrassment because he knows he has to watch that team play football. But that's what's so frustrating about this game. There's so many little things to nitpick ahead of it. And you go back to the first drive. So it's the first drive and the last drive are really the two costly ones. And if you would have known what that game was going to turn into, you probably just take the points and kick the field goal. But I think at the time, Kentucky was like, are we ever going to get back into the red zone again? This is our best chance to score a touchdown. We got to go for 6 points here.
I loved going forward. I didn't think they have an option. You had a little bit of the crowd. No one expects you to win. Your season's pretty much down the drain. You had Texas on their heels on your first scripted series. I wouldn't even consider kicking a field goal there. I like that they went for it. It just didn't work out.
And it goes back to the third down plays on both of those, where it feels like they were calling it for 3rd and 1 instead of 3rd and 2. I mean, you do the quarterback sneak from 2.5 yards out.
We were saying in real time, we were like, do they even know how far that is? Because where we sit, we were on the line of scrimmage, and we're sitting there nudging each other like, do they realize this is 2 yards?
And not against that defense.
Yeah. If it was 3rd and 1, it was the longest 3rd and 1 of all time.
It was a little bit under 2. It was 1 and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And here's the other part, too, that I hate adding this to the conspiracy theorist ammunition, but there was something that Stoops said I think it was post-game, where he essentially said, I didn't realize how far out they were on that third down call. Where he said, I didn't want to use a timeout that early to check the spot.
It was a good
and
spot.
So
it was a good spot.
My conspiracy brain is that he thought it was 3rd and 1, so he said, all right, Bush, do the quarterback sneak. Right.
No.
And I know Stoops, he doesn't get involved in the offense at all, but there's some getting involved there. It may not be Auburn's 4 play callers for 4 downs, but there is, this is Mark Stoops' team. And that's the sort of big picture issue that I have been ruminating in. The rapid reaction I was excited to talk about the game, and then Luckett had just hit me in the head over it, and it's just stuck with me ever since. Kentucky played exactly how they want to play. They had every opportunity. They didn't get every single break, but it was about as great as you can play against a pretty average team, and they still couldn't win. And that's the part that is the toughest pill to swallow in all of this.
I think they got every break. When Seth fumbled the ball and Miller was going to scoop and score, and his own player reaches his hand out there to bat it from his hand, I'm like, that's where we're going to win. Because that was a scoop and score. That was reminiscent of South Carolina yet again. Where he's going to scoop and score, and now they score another 7, we're going to lose the game. I don't know of a situation, Ty Bryant muffing 2 points.
Oh, getting both of them. Yeah.
They having 3 guys wide open, and either it's a bad pass or they drop the ball. Like I don't know. That was a game where almost everything went our way. 99% of things went our way.
And the one thing that didn't go their way that I thought would have to be the case for them to win, I thought they'd have to run the ball incredibly well. We saw Florida do it, go for $160, but McGowan's held to 45 yards rushing. If you take away the sack yards, Boley is their leading rusher. We talked about how if this team was going to it was basically all on Cutter Boley's shoulders the second half of the season. And he was awesome. He was incredible. He completed 80% of his passes, and they weren't just all screens. I mean, it was hanging in the pocket on third down and taking a shot and hitting somebody 4 yards down the field, Gilmore making somebody miss. I mean, that's the part of this that's crazy in it all, is that you got the sort of hero ball from Boley, and it's still not good enough. And that's
why he was in the game, though.
Yeah. He carried the offense. I mean, obviously got some help, but 50-plus dropbacks. He went over 300 net yards. It was the first quarterback to do that since Devin Leary did it against Tennessee 2 years ago. So they played a lot of games since then. And he did it against arguably one of the, 3 or 4 best defenses they've played in that stretch of time. So that is the if you're looking for, like, let's stay in the pros column, that is the one, the big point. Like, if you're looking for something that can maybe spark them or something they can build off of, I would say that is it. Because they didn't have a run game. It was the second game, really, second half of Georgia, they asked him, like, all right, Cutter, we're throwing it. McGowan's out. We're throwing it almost every time. So we're going to see what you can do here. And I think they've kind of gone to more of a dink and dunk kind of operation, throwing the football wise. Now, some of that is what I think they've gotten these last 2 games. So we'll see what happens on Saturday, because Tennessee, I think, is going to come up and challenge them a little bit more. Impressed. But overall, I think you really have to like the growth you've seen from Cutter Boley, specifically after, how bad kind of that South Carolina game went.
But the opposite is just that
they still haven't scored 2+ touchdowns or more than 2 touchdowns. So, like, until they do it, you can't really expect it.
I got a text message from Corey Price at 8 a.m. this morning. Corey Price doesn't text me that much, so I thought maybe there had been an emergency or something. It just said Kentucky has scored 27 points or less in 18 consecutive SEC games. They haven't done that since 1980.
Yep.
18 consecutive.
18 consecutive SEC games without more than 27 points.
They did that in like 1980 through 1983 is the last time they've gone that long.
Yeah, the last game they got there was when the last SEC home win against Florida in 2023.
And that's the part that I wrote about it today.
You got to score points to win football games. Pretty important.
I've just reached the acceptance that it can't work. Like, not just this year. I'm talking big picture. The Stoops way of winning, your defense had kind of sucked all year. All year. It's been bad. They played the lights out. Your quarterback was awesome. But you still can't beat an average SEC team at home at night. Stadium's rocking in the fourth quarter. Most people that have gone in a game all year. I mean, it's not going to work. You can't do what Stoops is doing. What he tried to do was we're going to get back to what made us successful. They did it all, and it's still not good enough. And accepting that it's not good enough is.
Well, I would counter that and say that that's not Stoops' ball how he played on Saturday. Now passes, that's anti-Stoops. It's look, and this the bad part about this is we played our best game against the best defense. Like that sucks. If we play this game against Ole Miss, then you score more than 2 touchdowns a game. If you play like this against, we played Georgia too. That's another good defense. If you play like this, let's say this. If you play like this next week, you score more than 2 touchdowns.
But do you?
Yes. Tennessee is not even close to Texas defense.
I agree.
If you you can't do this. This is not life. But let's just live in fantasy world. If you play the exact game, the exact plays, and against exact defenses, you score more than 2 touchdowns against Tennessee's defense, playing the exact plays you played last game. I know that's crazy. I know we're in the.
Oh no, I know. It's just Kentucky scores more than 2 touchdowns. What?
But now they need to go and do it, though.
Yes. And they look, Coach Bowl is going to get better. I mean, if you look at game 1 to this game, he has progressively gotten better.
Yeah.
Yes. There's no downward trend for him right now. And also it's making everybody else better because now people are starting to believe.
The Gilmore catch on 3rd down by the sideline. Was it Gilmore or Wall? He had a couple.
That's not even his best throw in my opinion. That throw to Wheelrod in the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter, was the best throw. It was on time. It was decisive. He let it rip. Let's go. That to me is when you start feeling comfortable that he can take us to a decent place. Do we have enough games for that to happen? I don't know, but he is showing something right now. The toughness, the players rally around, and more important, the defense rally around an offense that starts to do stuff. It's not only the offense. Those defensive players start standing up and start watching. They start getting some energy. If they can continue in March, like from this week to the next, I'm not going to say anymore because I said there was going to be Texas and they didn't.
Hey, and the other part too, Drew, he looked like Lamar Jackson out there a couple times. Mike Vick.
Oh yeah. What stinks about all this is there was actually some reasons to be excited about the future, but no one really knows how much of a future there is to be had here with this program right now. But there was a lot of young guys that were popping, not just Boley and Rodriguez and the guys we know. There were some defensive players. If this were just the beginning of this 1-year blip, you could say, man, look what they have to hang on to, and maybe that can improve. But it kind of stinks that the overall situation is taken away from some big growth from the young guys.
I got back to it already, to my dark place.
Sorry about that. I kind of steered you into that. My bad. I should have stayed with the question there. Yes, beautiful.
No, yeah, but you still lost. Like, just finish. Gosh.
The bottom line is, as soon as they press that QB button, this season became about, all right, what can Cutter Boley do?
Yep.
And you're seeing some growth and some development. And again, he kind of carried the offense in that game. 300-plus yards, created a bunch of opportunities. Now, there was some other stuff, and he had some help, obviously. But, a pair of 2-minute drives they executed. And it wasn't like he was anything special. He just took the profits, like get it to the running back, get it out quick for the most part. And I even thought some of the vertical throws he made, I thought Gilmore had a chance to catch one of those early in the football game on a go ball. So and then the scramble on 2nd and 11 in the red zone to get them in a touchdown, their only touchdown in the game. He's just doing, I think, some really good things, and you're seeing him kind of grow, and it's how much can you keep adding to that. But again, that's why it's so disappointing, I think, how it ended, because you really did feel like offensively they had a really good plan and they played more than well enough to win. You felt like they played like they should score 3+ offensive touchdowns, and they just didn't. but they played well enough to win that game. I mean, all three phases did, and it was just unfortunate that they couldn't figure it out. Except special team. I guess special team, but I'll give the kicker. I'll give the kicker. Jacob Callaway played well enough to win that game, made some kicks.
And on Boley, he brings a little swag to position we haven't had in a while. I mean, it's not much, but just the hopping right up and that, and getting knocked down and getting up in a lineman's face. We haven't seen that from the quarterback position in a long time. And for him to be only being his second season, and he's, the original plan was him to be on the bench right now. He has brought a little more juice than what anyone imagined, I think. Seems very comfortable considering all the opponents he's having to play.
Well, because I'm sure many of us would have predicted in July that Cutter Boley would outduel Arch Manning in Lexington.
They got Arch problems. So Sark's got a difficult conversation to have with the Mannings, I think.
I mean, Galaxy brain take. Is Sark a quarterback ruiner? I mean, Manning 5-star, Ewers 5-star. Hell, the best quarterback he's had in the last 10 years was 3-star Mac Jones, who was going to build something at Kentucky. And he had the Heisman Trophy winner receiver with Jalen Waddle and, I don't know, 100 other pros. Just saying, maybe it's a Sark issue. I know their fans are little disgruntled that year 5 of Sark. They've got the best defense in the country and Manning at quarterback, and they're averaging 16 points a game against power conference foes. It's not good.
He has the same issue, really, that we have. Should he have started Arch earlier? Because it's the same. It's reps, man. When you're dealing with reps and not being able to see everything, don't care.
The line stinks. The line is terrible. It stinks.
No, that too. You cannot expect him to be he needs reps. And look, I'm a Manning fan. I really enjoy that family, and they knew too. When your uncle say he's not, I think his grandfather, I think Archie said he's coming back next year. There's a reason why they're upfront with saying it, because they know he needs time. He needs time. And it's the same thing with Cutter. He needs time. He needed to develop quarterbacks. Quarterbacks don't come in out of high school typically and are studs. It's just like the O-line. He needs time. He needs reps. I seen a kid play live with my own 2 eyes. He can play football. It's just like Adam said, we talked about last week. And that's the reason why I said we could win the game, because that offensive line stinks with no running game.
Yeah, Kentucky made them one-dimensional, and they made one of the worst offenses in the SEC look like one of the worst offenses in the SEC, and that's why they had a chance to win the game. And they just didn't. I will give Arch credit, though.
Didn't turn it over.
Everything went to crap, and they protected the football.
Yep.
That's probably ultimately maybe the biggest reason why they won the game, because that felt like it could have been a turnover onslaught with how bad everything was going, and Kentucky could not get a turnover. The one fumble they force, unfortunately, occurs
at the goal line.
The only one, if they would have got one anywhere else, they recover it. The game's totally different.
I have one other point that I want to make before I talk to you about our friends at Brunt. The officiating, woof, I didn't know what they were doing half the time. The replay review on the touchdown was weird. I understand that I learned something new. And that's that if you get tackled near the sideline of the opposing team, you're allowed to sub. I did not know that. I thought it was only if they subbed could you have to stop it for the defense to sub too. I didn't realize that if it was on the opposite sideline, you could also do that. But still, I mean, that was 12, 13 guys. They were offsides first right there. And then there was another – what was the offsides that Tony was talking to us about today, Luckett, where the dude was lined up?
Cutter's interception, guy was lined up in the neutral zone.
And they just missed it.
Yeah.
It's just the other one, the one that really irritated me, Van, that Derek Abney actually pointed out. Before Texas kicks their 53-yard field goal, Arch is getting tackled, and he throws it off the back of his offensive lineman. That's an easy 5-yard penalty. Throw the flag. Illegal touching.
Yep.
53 yards is a lot different than 58.
The illegal procedure, 2 men moving when Law went into motion after they shifted. I mean, how long he's supposed to be Stonehenge, supposed to sit like a Medusa like this and stay? Wait, can I go now? Come on, like that call was never made. I will say this. I've heard it's in between the 20s, and I get it. It's in between the 20s. I queued up a Tennessee game of last year, and Brew ran out of bounds on the 19-yard line. Are you telling me that the officials are that good to know the difference between the 19 and 20? They ran out and they let them tempo? Come on, man. That is lamer than lame. Here's the other thing, is with modern technology, they have headsets. The back judge, the sideline judge can say, oh, number 1 went out, number 1 comes back in. All right, guys, let it rock and roll, same guys. BS. It's total BS. There's no way you're going to tell me in that situation those guys can. And then the bad part about it, they held them for way long. It wasn't like we subbed and then there was no sub. He ran back on the field. So you're telling me how much? So what's the time you give? Is it 3 seconds? Is it 2 seconds? Is it 4? Like, whatever.
Yeah. Not a great day for the officials. I don't know if that would make the difference in a win or a loss. A couple little things could have gone Kentucky's way. But you know how else you can have a great day is if you're rocking some Brunt workwear. BruntWorkwear.com/KSR. Check them out today. Level up your experience at work. You don't need to sacrifice comfortability for durability because Brunt Workwear, they've got both with the Marin and the Omen. Outstanding work boots, whether you want to lace them up or slip them on. Brunt's got you covered. These boots are waterproof. They got the heavy toe, so you can't drop anything on them. And better yet, they're incredibly comfortable. They're warm. I know it's getting cold outside. Let Brunt Workwear be your everyday choice in boots. And it's not just boots, too. They've got a full range of high-performance gear that's built for tough jobs, from heavy-duty work pants to weather-resistant jackets. Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. And for a limited time, our listeners are going to get $10 off at Brunt when you use KSR at checkout. You don't cut any corners, and neither does Brunt. Visit BruntWorkwear.com/KSR to make your workday a better day with Brunt. Now it's time to be blunt and say that we still got to keep, like, it sucks because it felt like things were normal today, Drew. And even in the post game, like, we didn't have to do the whole Stoops, but Stoops still had to acknowledge post game. It was kind of an unusual way to do it, but essentially say, hey, fans, I know there's a lot of stuff going on with me right now, but thanks for showing up. And that's the part that, like, we get to have a normal press conference on Monday where we're talking about football and he's actually being pretty direct and answering questions. And we can talk X's and O's and guys playing better or worse. But the reality of the situation hasn't changed. Right? I mean, they still have lost 100 games in a row to decent teams. Fans still left the stands pissed off after another night game at Kroger Field.
Yeah, Luckett and I met a lot of them while we were out there after you went back inside to hear from Stoops in person. I'll note that Stoops' press conference for a couple of years, you could have played any of them and it didn't matter the game. They're all pretty similar. The post-game one Saturday, that was a guy that I think knows his fate. I mean, he seemed – you were in the room, but just watching on video, he seemed not emotional – but like very sincere in his thinking of the fans. It almost sounded like he was setting up for a goodbye that might not be too far away. So I don't know if that's how the vibe felt in that room, but many of these press conferences have been meaningless lately, but that one felt pretty different. And then the one today, he just was very clear and answered questions, completely different headspace. But we've had 2 press conferences that have seemed different than they did for a long time. It got to where we didn't need to bother watching them.
Yeah. I appreciated that. And it felt like his head was in the sand for a lot of it. Just we're going back to work, we're doing this. And now it's almost like the gloves have been taken off. Luckett. I don't know. It definitely is different. Now, what exactly that means, I don't know. But it did at least feel different.
Yeah, I think his tone was just different in Saturdays. Like, that was the biggest thing to me. I think the tone was just different. Where this one, Nick, he's had this kind of press conference where this is kind of his press conference he has after, like, to try to, after they have a bad game and then just try to move forward. And so he's had press conferences like the one today before, but the one on Saturday was different. And indirectly kind of addressing the someone had putting people in, however the quote was, putting people in positions where they have to make a decision.
Yeah.
That was that was the most notable of it all. And this came all just after Mitch kind of had a quote where he kind of said he said, it doesn't, like, nothing matters if you don't win. Like, you could have this great game and we're still in the same spot, which he pretty much drew up the Texas game in his words 4 days before it happened.
It was Oscar Sheboy, like, in his premonition of what was to come. I mean,
does Mitch have a dog for this weekend? Can he tell me? Is he feeling good about money line somewhere?
He said it. You can come close and be a foot short, but you still doesn't win. That's ultimately what matters, and that's what Stoops says. This is a bottom line business, and I know that as well as anybody. And for Billy Napier, it didn't matter that he won and Mississippi State threw the game away. I mean, Jeff Lebby, why are you throwing the football? I understood why Miami was throwing the ball late because a touchdown could have won it, but Mississippi State was in field goal range, and all they needed was a field goal to win it. Miami would have been forcing overtime. So I at least understood that. No idea why Jeff Lebby was throwing it. Shapen just didn't see the defensive end dropping back, and that simulated pressure. But it didn't matter. 4-1. They still got rid of Napier. Saw Colorado State's coach got fired. Hugh Freeze lost. We did have a lot of athletic directors giving statements today, which is usually that's the what do you call those in real jobs? I'm not used to working in real jobs. Vane, have you ever worked a real job? What do you call that? A PIP. Yeah. A personal performance improvement plan. You get put on a PIP before you get fired. That's what the ADs are doing at Florida State and Wisconsin. Except I think in Florida State's case, they were saying, "Sorry, fans, we can't afford to fire Norvell, even though he sucks."
I like that you're talking about PIPs, and I'm wearing my pajamas on a Monday talking about football in my house. But carry on.
The overall car insurance, personal injury protection. I didn't know what was going on here.
Vane's mic came unplugged too. Oh no. Uh-oh.
He needs some PIP.
Yeah. There you go. All right.
Sorry. The only Pips I know are Gladys Knight, so that's who I thought you was talking about. I was talking she rolling or something. I was about to get my dance on.
Was she midnight train to Georgia?
Yes.
There's a lot of good Georgia songs. That one's the best. So it's great.
Oh, now come on now.
That's the best Georgia song.
You know that blind guy?
I'm telling you, it's better than the Blind Guys.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm taking Gladys Knight. But back to my overall point. Prepare for the most chaotic coaching carousel you've ever seen. And it's not – I think there's a couple factors to it. One, it's kind of goes back to the NIL conversation with basketball this year. The circumstances of this transition from NIL to rev share are leading to this. For basketball, they had NIL money. They had to spend it or they were going to lose it. It's use it or lose it situation. In football, nobody got fired last year because everybody was worried about the finances. Because if not, Napier's ass probably would have already been gone. But we had 0 SEC coaching changes last year. And that was part of it. There was a lot of uncertainty and anxiety about the future financial situation. So people said, all right, we're not going to bite the bullet and spend a bunch of money. So I think that it was higher retention rates because of that. Secondly, I think now it's transitioned to we can't afford to be behind, so we've got to get a coach that we've got to nip these problems in the bud and get a coach that's going to put us in a position to succeed. So you're going to see more firings. Thirdly, is there's some big time programs that are open. Florida and Penn State, huge names. Huge names. Is LSU? Is Auburn going to be in it?
Florida.
I mean, right. Like, Brian Kelly might not get fired, but he might say, screw this. I need to get the hell out of here. You know? Fourthly, I think this is the wrinkle that nobody is talking about right now that is going to play a huge impact down the road. The transfer portal window has moved. So I forget how quick it was, but like you don't have to have somebody hired 3 days after the season. The transfer portal is what, January 8th, Luckett, something like that?
It starts January 2nd.
Okay. But it's even after the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, technically. But it's after the first round of the playoffs. So if you need to wait for a coach that's in the playoff or is a coordinator in the playoff, you can. But are schools still gonna be idiots and do the same thing and feel like they got to rush it, and there's gonna be chaos that ensues?
Portal conversations will be taking place in December, but it's not going to be a total rush to have a hire done by December 3rd, 4th, 5th. You're going to have like a week, 2 weeks, I would say, more shelf life on it. So, yeah, your teams aren't going to move as fast, but there's still going to be a pacing to that where you're going to want to get a guy if you're changing jobs or if you're hiring a new coach, get them, settled in before all hell breaks loose.
And it's going to be hell. That's overall the point I want to make, because we might be in that hell, and timing is everything in these. Timing is everything, Mr. Luckett, on the coaching carousel. There's a lot of dumb luck involved, especially when you're Kentucky and you're not Penn State or Florida. I got a question for you, Van, because people are going to be talking about this. Lane Kiffin. Everybody, Lane to Florida, the Lane train to Florida has been tooting for a year or two now. I heard him say in an interview recently he grew up idolizing Spurrier. Well, you can go work in the same building as him and play on the same field as him. Does coaching at Florida, is there inherent advantages than coaching at Ole Miss in the era of NIL? Like that used to, like proximity and all that used to matter. Do you think that matters anymore?
Yes, because he still has that name and he still has that gravitas to him. Yes, for him to go to Florida, he will reinvigorate that recruiting base that has been going to South Carolina, which Clemson, and Georgia.
Well, but my question was more so, do you think he feels like he needs to go there because the ceiling is higher, or could he do what he wants to do at Ole Miss and be fine? Because the green, the language is the same in Oxford as it is in Gainesville when it comes to dollars and cents.
I think he can build a better program, because remember, Lane has had to live off of the portal too. Like Lane is not getting homegrown guys. So when and if you ever been to Oxford, I know y'all been to Oxford.
Yeah.
It's Oxford. All right.
I've been to Batesville.
That's the worst. Why not go to Memphis? Well, what I'm saying is that I don't think that program fits Lane either. Those Jackson lawyers can be pain in the you-know-what. I think going to Gainesville, I think he has, since he's still Lane Kiffin, I think he can pull a lot of those panhandle guys and even probably battle with Georgia and get some of that Southern Georgia players too. I think that is a great place for Lane. I'm not sure he wants to go. There's more pressure there. There's more expectations. But if you're asking me, can he have a better program at Florida? I know for sure.
I think schools like Ole Miss have closed the gap, but I still think proximity and helmet logo, matters. Specifically in high school recruiting.
Yes.
The other thing you have to think about too, when it comes to the carousel, if Lane or if Drink leaves, then you're competing against Auburn and Mizzou for spots. Which I love that Penn State fires Franklin, and people spend all week talking about Matt Rule, and then Nebraska goes out and gets their teeth kicked in by Minnesota. Minnesota's been one of the worst rushing teams all year, and they put up 200 yards against Nebraska.
It was a PJ Fleck special. I think he's won 6 in a row against Nebraska. Just totally just stuffed them in a box.
Row the boat.
Yeah.
Was it you who was telling me that PJ Fleck, before he goes to bed, watches the Big Ten coaches' press conferences?
That's what he told the announcers every night before he goes to sleep. He's watching press conferences.
That guy.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of announcers,
absolute lunatic. Love it.
Drew, you got to hang out with the Brockett ship?
Oh yeah, like several times. He and our boy Dave Fleming, very nice guys. Brockett ship, much taller than I expected. I already knew he was. I think he's the tallest quarterback or tied for the tallest quarterback ever. That dude's gigantic. But they're both very nice, and the Matt Jones lookalike is for real. I saw them. They literally parked next to me at Keeneland, like the spot next to me. So then they're like, "Hey, where do we go?" And I was like, "All right, follow me." Just hung with them for a little bit. But then at dinner that night, I'm literally sitting next to them, 2 different tables, but elbow to elbow. And they're like, "All right, this is getting weird, man." So, I guess we kind of broed unintentionally there for a little bit. Nice guys, though.
It was. I did see Brock on his way out, too. And in my mind, same exact thought. This guy, I know this guy's tall, but he's even taller. I mean, not a lot of people. I don't look up to many people. I was looking up to the Brockett ship.
Yeah, I haven't gone back. I'll probably even do it this afternoon to watch the TV broadcast. But I heard that Fleming was a little critical and getting after the Cats at times, which we've heard many times so far with some of the decision making. But I don't know if any of y'all had gone back and watched the TV broadcast yet. I guess, Van, you saw it.
That sounds popular. Sounds like ESPN announcers are doing that quite often.
I don't listen to analysts, but I was in a draft class with Jim Druckenmiller. That's a big dude.
Druckenmiller?
Big dude. Druckenmiller.
That's
humongous.
That guy has a empty leg. Like he's got a hollow leg, right? Just your name's Druckenmiller. You're putting him back. Better watch out for Druckenmiller. Don't want to arm wrestle him.
2 biggest guys I've ever seen in person. Andrew Whitworth when he was playing with the Bengals.
He's a big dude. LSU guy.
Yeah, just tall, wide.
Yes.
He's about as big as it gets. And then, Nick, SEC Media Days 2021, Jordan Davis, I thought he was going to swallow up that podium. Those are the 2 biggest people I've ever seen in person.
Caden Proctor was up there this year. That guy's in the head on him, it just is like, how do they get a helmet to fit over that, It's enormous humans. Oh, tiniest football human I've ever seen, Kyler Murray. I just wanted to shove him into a locker when I saw him. Get out of here, twerp. Dude, get out of here. I'm glad we're doing this to distract us from another
Trying our best to get y'all this dark spot.
Hey, I mentioned it, Van, but what the hell's going on with LSU? Is that just why is Nussmeier worse? And what the hell's going on? And Brian Kelly's supposed to be the offensive guy.
That when your running game is a little bit above Texas, and when Nussmeier has been battling an injury, and when Barry Brown misses first down, move the chain catches, when their defensive coordinator calls a great game, and your outside rusher gets beat 4 to 5 times, a couple times, well, at least one time for a touchdown, guys on that defense are not disciplined. I mean, that guy called. I can't think of his name. What's the guy from Missouri? He called a great game.
Baker.
These guys let him down. These guys let him down. Really, they had at least dead to rights. They had Pavea 2 guys one time, and they both missed. They didn't even touch him. It's kind of like when Georgia had the arrow route, and we had 2 guys that touched him. Very similar.
Well, to get back to the game, it was great to see a lot of issues resolved defensively. And I think that's a part that gets overlooked for Brad White as a defensive coordinator. When he rallies the troops, he does a good job of rallying the troops. And maybe you can attest to this, Van, but Stoops said that they weren't particularly more aggressive than normal. Now, they might have manned up and done more simulated pressures and stuff, but it felt like every time Arch Manning dropped back to pass, there was somebody in his face. And it worked. It worked damn good. And on top of that, we didn't have the same sort of tackling issues. I mean, there was the chunk play and then what could have been a deadly play where the tight end got wide open and Arch missed him. But there weren't these huge busts that would have seemingly killed the game. I mean, the defense played as great as I can remember. I'm sure there was some performances, probably Ole Miss last year, Missouri back in 2018, Georgia a year ago. We've seen some other great, outstanding defensive performances, and this one is certainly up there amongst them in the Stoops era.
Style makes fights. When you know their offensive line stinks and you can confuse them, look, you can be aggressive when you know you have an advantage against a certain unit. I will say this. If that offensive line could have blocked a half a second longer, they were beating our DBs consistently. We were impressed, man. And we were getting beat consistently. He just didn't have the time to get it there because their O-line is worse than our O-line was last year.
Great news for next week.
Yeah.
What could go wrong against Tennessee?
What did you think about that point spread, by the way, if I may butt in with that?
Well, what is the – I haven't even seen it.
8.5.
It was about a touchdown less than I think I had it last week. And now Tennessee has not played great the last couple of weeks. But, I was surprised it was that low, Drew. I expected close to 2 touchdowns.
Me too.
I was surprised when you told me that Josh Heupel football teams have never thrown an interception against Mark Stoops football teams.
That's true.
I have the numbers pulled. Go check out Monday Huddle, KentuckySportsRadio.com. But, I believe they're averaging right at 35 points per game, 9 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and they're completing, Van. I think they've completed at least 74% of their passes in every one of these games. They've gone over 80% with Joe Milton at quarterback. So the passing game has really just absolutely torched Kentucky in this matchup. Now they're run heavy, but they've torched them when they've gone to throw the ball in this matchup.
Milton can't complete 80% of his passes on air, and he's doing it against Kentucky. I mean,
that game, if I remember, was what was the final score? Didn't Joe Milton only put up 20-some points that game?
It was 33-27.
Okay,
that game.
One of those
Kentucky couldn't finish drives. Kentucky marched the ball. They couldn't run the ball. They got pass heavy, but they had issues finishing drives, if I remember correctly, in that game.
Never heard that before.
And I don't think Nico had a lot either.
The finishing drives part, I remember when our guy Red Zone Rich was here, and when you knew it was over for him, which maybe, who knows, maybe him showing up to KS Bar on Saturday reverses this curse. But since Stoops decided to do the pro style thing, Liam Cohen's the only guy who's been able to figure out the red zone, and they still weren't great in 2023. But Kentucky has just sucked in the red zone. There's no other way around it. And if you are going to be explosive, then you're just not going to score points.
Is this pro style though?
That's what it's called. Like, but is it?
Is that what they calling it?
I mean,
Nothing's really been pro about it to this point.
This does not look like a pro style offense. It looks more like a spread. Yeah, whatever.
We're splitting hairs. But basically, since Cohen, they haven't been able to score in the red zone without Benny Snell, Lynn Bowden, or Chris Rodriguez.
Ding, 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 or the big blue wall.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't have an offensive line that can totally dominate the line of scrimmage. It makes a difference. When you have
you have to be more creative.
Look,
you can't just.
I'm gonna tell you this: as a defensive back, it sucks to be in the green area. But once you get into the 10-yard less, there ain't too many. It's not too much yards. You have to cover vertically. Everything's horizontal. It's a little different to pass the ball in the red zone. So now, if you have a good front seven, the game becomes a little tighter for the offense. We don't have a dude that can win a one-on-one. It's real. If you're gonna pass in the passing game, either your tight end, it's got to be Kyle Pitts, or your receiver's got to be Wandale Robinson. If you have one of those, now the red zone offense becomes a little easy.
Throw it to the back.
Well,
they did it 7 times on Friday, but not in the red zone.
About time. We've been preaching this for forever. They playing man-to-man. Throw it to you. Was that not the calling card for Seth? He's a great wide receiver. He's great catching back, pass catching back. Give him the freaking ball.
The 2 minute
higher jumpers, Nick. We could just get higher jumpers.
Oh yeah, we can put a trampoline down.
Just hurdle the line.
Yeah, and just drop a trampoline out of Cutter's back pocket. The old springboard. So the catch and run that McGowan had, I think Luckett cursed under his breath when Cutter took the check down, and then McGowan just did the and got
it was a hell of a play.
Yeah,
a hell of a play. And the Cutter scramble got them started, but that was they gained 15 yards, I believe, on that play, and they were a first down for field goal range at that point. It was a hell of a play by McGowan.
Which one was more impressive? Which one was more impressive? The first half one, the second half one?
I'd say second half considering second half considering the situation. You get tackled there.
It's ball game.
You're not dead to rights, but you're
pretty much
you're hurting.
You're right.
The most impressive thing he did was get to the hospital and back in like 5 minutes. I know it's right by the stadium, but how in the hell they just kind of glossed over that? Stoops even confirmed it today. That was a pretty impressive getting out of there and getting back.
I'm still don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second.
You got to think about the wait time there on a Saturday night. That should be a couple hours in itself.
The amount of forms that you've got to fill out. I mean, come on.
That should be in the ER, and a SEC running back just comes walking in with a bunch of people.
Got his helmet on.
Well, what was his issue?
Shoulder.
So
I don't know.
What did they do?
You can't do a CT scan or MRI either. It takes too long. Yeah, I think they may have instead of just doing it at the stadium, they probably put him on a cart and went to the facility. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. They got a closer look, but I don't even know what it would be. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm not behind it.
Fracture?
I don't get it.
Although it's shoulder, Nick, did they say it?
Yeah, they said it was shoulder.
Torn labrum? What?
How
did he come back? So now that's why Jason Patterson plays so much. So okay, riddle me this. It didn't seem like he had a shoulder harness on. So how did he come back in the game whenever he came back in the fourth quarter and still ran that hard with a compromised shoulder? Like, are they saying it was a shoulder and it really was something else? Because honestly, man, that
concussion
shoulder is crazy.
Are you telling me a UK football player was supposed to show up at the hospital and didn't? That's been an ongoing UK healthcare problem.
Oh my God! I almost turned my camera off. Wow.
That was good, Drew.
That was good. That was wild.
One shout out to Jason Patterson though. I mean, I think he's taking Dowdell's carries. for the most part. That jump cut he had on the 11-yard, and then he also caught a pass too for a first down. That was impressive. I mean, he's earned his reps.
I don't know if you could hear him, Nick, but those 3 Texas writers that were sitting by me, and one of them I Googled him. He's big time. They were raving about Patterson and the carries he got. I mean, they were all like, who is this guy? And talking about the cuts he was making. So he even opened eyes with some longtime people that have been covering Texas running backs.
Yeah, I mean, he was awesome. That's a good sign. Good to see Hardly Gilmore, even though he drew a PI for his explosive, but good to see Gilmore seemingly start to become the player we expected him to be. A lot of that is because Cutter Boley's playing well, which we've detailed a lot here. But one thing we did not do in this show that it's on me for just being a Debbie Downer early on. But 2 things. One, Van wanted to kick the field goal. Stoops does not regret any of his decisions on the 3rd and 4th down at the goal line. He made that clear today. Sometimes he'll do you can second guess anything. He did not do that today. He was very adamant defending that decision. And the other one was defending the decisions to punt it to Ryan Niblett, particularly the last one. And when asked the second time, Stoops essentially said, listen, South Carolina, the best return man in the country, and we held him to -5 yards. I mean, the coverage has been good. We just missed a tackle. He said, he probably thought that there was a fair catch. And he took it easy. Well, I'd rather him run through the guy than away. And my other response, too, would be like, that's why Jansen Dunn is not playing corner or nickel, is because of that tackling right there on that punt coverage. Jay Bowler has said in the past, too, to me in a conversation when asked, why don't you tell him to kick it out of bounds? He essentially said, I'm never going to do that because there's almost a higher % chance that he shanks it out of bounds than actually successfully kicks it out of bounds. And so you agree with that, Van?
No, that statement is true. I have been in situations in the NFL, in college, where we are supposed to directional punt. So you know how everybody starts to angle to the directional punt?
And he punts it the other way.
To the other side. So now everybody looks stupid. I've seen it happen. But here's the deal. I'm not going to even go with those 2 obvious plays. The one that makes me upset the most is when we let the ball go in the end zone, when there was 2 guys there and the ball almost bounced 2 to 3 yards on the side of them. That's poor football IQ. If the guy goes up, one guy gets in front, one guy finds the ball. I've been taught that since Little League. So somebody has the lowest IQ, and I'm not going to call guys out, but come on, if there's a guy in front that has the guy who's the punt returner who's looking up, the other guy either goes behind and finds the ball. That play alone could have changed the outcome of the game, because instead of getting the ball on the 20, they get the ball on the 2 or 3 yard line. Incredible.
Ifs and buts. Candy and nuts.
And that's Texas's biggest advantage in that game, average starting field position.
Yep.
I think they were plus 15 on Kentucky. Kentucky finally got the short field, and they scored a touchdown. Texas, most their scores were all on short fields, and they had the ultimate short field after the first punt return.
Texas had 179 yards of offense. They had 88 yards in punt returns.
Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, and this gets back to, we talked about baby steps. You got to take one before you take 2, Van. I've got a baby who's figuring out how to walk right now. Okay. And same thing, one, then a couple more. She's got to have something in her hand. Like if she's holding on to something, it's almost like the counterbalance when you see the tightrope walkers. Well, every time Kentucky takes a step forward in some degree, they always take another step back in some other. It feels like the building is collapsing, and as soon as you fix one thing, another thing breaks, because that was special teams. Kentucky's top 10 special teams unit. I mean, that was your strength. I know it's a 53-yarder right before half, but if you hit that, right? Or if you just do the one thing you can't do, take a sack. And that was a big mistake on Cutter. He's hot. He's got to know that. But Take steps forward defensively. You take steps forward offensively. Cutter's looking awesome. Then your top 10 special teams unit drops the ball. That's Kentucky football the last couple of years for you.
Yeah.
Losses.
Yeah.
They're adding up. And good news, Drew. Tennessee's coming to town. At least that's a team you never lost to before.
That and just it's not a good style matchup. With the Texas and the Georgias, you can at least see a world where it can play out. But we know Tennessee's going to get some points. And even though the offense took a big step, I will say they have given me a little more confidence than I had Friday. Saturday, the offense looked much improved, but I still worry you can't get in a shootout with Tennessee, and that's just how they play.
How many touchdowns does this offense have to score, Van, to have a chance on Saturday?
How many turnovers is Aguilar going to give us?
3.
That makes a difference. If he gives us 3, I say 21 or 24 wins. I mean, Tennessee has not been Heaton Hooker Tennessee. I mean, if you really look at it.
This still feels like you got to get to 30 kind of game. With the way that Tennessee has played against this Kentucky defense over the years.
I think the first team to 27 wins.
Well, 27 points.
Would you like for me to share that stat I read earlier?
Look,
it's only 27 points, though.
How many points did Tennessee score last year on us? 31?
28-18 final.
And 2018, if we remember correctly, if Gavin Wimsatt does not give up basically a pick 6.
Yeah.
They don't score that many points.
Yeah, Kentucky was in field goal range on that drive too. Aguilar, 6 interceptions, 4 fumbles this season.
That's why. How many is he gonna give us? Can he give us 2 in the end zone where Humphrey Grace can follow one and Gadsden can follow one, and we do the South Carolina, we get 14 points on defense? Is that a possibility?
Has Kentucky still not recovered a fumble this year?
Not on defense. They have on offense and special teams.
I mean,
our boy Pete fell on one that
redemption.
That was good. That was good.
Redemption.
Ty Bryant has 2 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries. Just the fumble recoveries are on the special teams.
How do you play 6 games and you have not forced a fumble that you recovered? That's incredible. It's almost impressive.
I can tell you,
not even bad.
I played on teams where they come in bunches. You don't have a turnover for 4 games, and all of a sudden you get 10 and 4.
Well, it needs to happen. It happened in a hurry.
It needs to happen like yesterday.
Okay. Let's end it on a high note, though. Okay. Drew Franklin.
Yes.
What is your brain if we are sitting here talking about a Kentucky victory over Tennessee this time next Monday?
Where's my brain?
How will Big Blue Nation stomach that?
Well, even though I think there will still be a lot of frustration with the big picture, we will use it as a nice piece in the trash talk with Tennessee that our football team that had lost so many consecutive games beat you, the yada yada. So it'll be good for the trash talk, but I don't know if it changes much big picture for the fan base moving forward, unless the offense takes another step forward and does win a shootout and really get some excitement behind Boley. And me personally, my dad, Tennessee fan, I'm driving straight to his house and talking all of the trash.
Oh, we need Franco on rapid reactions if that happens.
I'll do it from his living room. Actually, it's a night game. He'll probably be in bed. I will go stand by him in bed and do a rapid reaction.
It'll be like the old Viva La Bam where they wake up Don Vito in the middle of the night with an air horn.
That's funny.
Kentucky winning a shootout over Tennessee. It would be good for the soul. Hopefully we get it. Van, I've watched Josh Heupel play against Mark Stoops. They score points.
24-21 win for Kentucky would feel like a 52-51.
Okay, that's
Patrick Mahomes versus Baker Mayfield.
That's fair. Okay, all right, that's fair.
Staying positive, looking ahead to Tennessee, is this a game where you consider bringing out Boss Man Fat since he had the big pick six in that win in Knoxville? Maybe you would let him say a few words to start the fourth quarter, get the crowd fired up? No?
What is Boss Man going to say? Hey, if y'all win this game, you don't have to play the last two.
I forgot about that. He opted out. Is he dead?
I love how you whispered that. He avoided the big charge. He avoided it, but I think he's been in trouble again.
Oh yeah.
I don't.
But he was the reason I brought him up because when we did have happiness against the Tennessee offense, it was the pick six game where they just lit them up in Knoxville.
I saw that they had Garrett. Yeah, there we go. We'll get Jamin Davis back. I don't think he has a job right now. But I saw that Jarrett Garantano is now doing SEC Network stuff. Is his analysis just don't throw it to the other team? I mean,
here's what I did. Don't do that.
We need them to play on the Kroger Field Jumbotron. It's kind of like whenever the Cats beat Coach O's LSU and they're playing Colin Baton Rouge. We need to get the clip ready of the guy going, another pick six! Another pick six! Woo! We need to have that one ready. Just in case. Just in case Aguilar gets loose with the ball. Hopefully it happens a bunch and we get to drink volunteers on Saturday. I'm not banking on it, but I'm hopeful. I know I'm not hopeful. I would love to see it happen, though. It would be great. It would be wonderful. We're going to talk about the more 11 personnel on Wednesday. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you all this Monday. He's Van Hiles. That's Adam Luckett. Drew Franklin. I'm Nick Roush. Go Cats and go Kroger.